above the tent so it would be in the camera. And they just move.
What was that?
He just got shot! Holy
Tyler Robinson, the 22-year-old college dropout charged in the shooting death of political activist Charlie Kirk, faces aggravated murder charges in the state of Utah. As the investigation continues, we are learning more about the motives and methods of the suspect in this case. I am Susan Ferricchio, senior political correspondent for the Washington Times, and this is my Q&A on what we know so far about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Authorities arrested 22-year-old Tyler Robinson of St. George, Utah. He dropped out of college, the Utah State University, after one semester and enrolled in an online technical school where he was studying to be an electrician. He was involved in various chat groups and message boards, among them Discord, Steam, Reddit, and other groups. He was raised as a Mormon. According to his family, he was indoctrinated by left-wing ideology. The family said that he had an intense dislike for Charlie Kirk, and he called him someone who spreads hate. Charlie Kirk was the creator and founder of Turning Point USA. This is a conservative group that helped mobilize the youth vote for President Trump in 2024. A lot of people credit him with helping the president win the election. He's also someone who tours college campuses to debate students on hot-button issues, among them transgender ideology, abortion, immigration, DEI policies, whether or not college is even worth attending, and other issues. What we know so far about Robinson is that he is not cooperating with authorities, but that he confessed to his father and over the phone because his father recognized him in some of the images that the FBI put out shortly after Mr. Kirk's assassination. So far, the authorities have collected some forensic evidence connecting him to the case, including DNA on a towel that was wrapped around the rifle when they found it in the woods. And they also have what they say is some sort of confession from Robinson on one of the chat rooms known as Discord, and that he also may have written a note about his commission of the murder, and that note was destroyed, but then a roommate helped the FBI piece together what the note said. Since he's not cooperating and isn't speaking, we really don't know exactly why he did it, but we can kind of piece together what the reasons may have been based on what family members have said, aspects of his personal life, his online life. And so far, we know he really didn't like Charlie Kirk. And according to the FBI Director Kash Patel, he did say to authorities something along the lines of his hate for Mr. Kirk was not negotiable. So we may hear more about that as this case unfolds. He was in a romantic relationship with his male roommate, and his male roommate was transgendered and transitioning to become a female. We know that. Charlie Kirk was, we know, opposed to transgender ideology. He often debated students on college campuses about this. And he attracted a lot of opposition from the left because people believed that what he was saying was marginalizing those groups, although Mr. Kirk would argue what he was saying was just to debate the issue and whether or not all these transition drugs and operations were really a good idea for very young people and what it meant for society on the whole. Also known about the suspect are some motives that he may have revealed in the bullet casings that authorities found alongside the rifle. They included some messages associated with Antifa, which is a left-wing group that is sometimes violent. These messages included a World War II song, the phrase, "Hey, fascist, catch," is one that's related to the LGBTQ ideology, and another connected to the furries subculture. Now, people who say that they are really experts in this online world that many young people are engaged in say that these phrases, the song, etc., can all be found on video games as well. So there's a blurred line here. This week, the Trump administration pledged to go after violent online groups and violent groups who may be targeting people politically.
My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity
and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country.
The president believes that most of this is happening on the left, that they are pushing most of these violent actions. Of course, people on the left disagree and say conservatives have also committed dangerous violent acts, and they point to the shooting of 2 state representatives in Minnesota. 2 people were killed and 2 others were injured in that shooting, and it was committed by somebody who was ideologically on the right. Robinson is scheduled in court on Tuesday, September 16th. He was arraigned on charges that include aggravated murder. Now, that in Utah makes him eligible for the death penalty. There's also an obstruction of justice charge against him and another charge for shooting where a crowd of people were sitting. So he's got several charges against him, but his biggest problem right now is the aggravated murder charge because that could land him with a death penalty. So there's a huge following for Charlie Kirk, and the outpouring has been both online and then in person. A lot of vigils held around the country with people are coming forward and saying they want to start new chapters of his TPUSA organization. And he was somebody who many people saw as an important part of the future of the Republican Party, of the conservative movement, of the MAGA movement. He was very loyal to President Trump, and he basically helped him win in 2024. People saw him as the bridge between, Trump's MAGA. Trump is much older than Charlie Kirk and the new generation. The other thing that's happening is people online who didn't like Charlie Kirk talking about his death in a positive way. They're getting in trouble at work. They're having to apologize online. It's really started, in some ways, an ugly online kind of clash between the 2 parties over Charlie Kirk's messaging and over his death. And I think a lot of people are sad about that and concerned about what that means for the country. And so it's kind of a dark note on where things are going right now with that. But next week, there is the formal memorial service that's going to be held in Arizona at a stadium there. And President Trump is expected to attend. It's probably going to be packed, and there's going to be speeches and perhaps a call for unity at this point. Actually, I think you're going to see that, people talking about turning the temperature down a little bit and talking about how to get at what's behind shootings like this. For the Washington Times, I'm Susan Ferricchio. For more coverage, please log on to WashingtonTimes.com.